Bitcoin has dropped 90% before. Will this happen again? When and at what price? Will it drop at the next cycle when it's maybe a million by 90%? Of course, this is a crystal ball question. But again, if we look back, it has happened before.
Yes, I think it will happen again. And I
Wow.
know there's much debate about that. There's people that say we'll never do that again because now the institutions are in. Now we have a $1 trillion dollar market cap. Now it's too big. It's like Amazon that had some volatility in the beginning, but once it got bigger and bigger, the volatility was gone, and that is logical. And maybe that will happen in the far future, so say 10 years from now. But I certainly think, and that was your question, that we'll see one crash again after next all-time high. So I would say if we do anything similar to last cycle and the cycle before that, then we'll see an all-time high somewhere at the end of this year and a low of a minus 80%, for example, in the year after. So in 1922, in 2022. Um, yeah, and I think the reason that happens is that
And the
that
naysayers will come back out, including my friend Peter Schiff. We live in the same town.
yeah. Well, probably gold is then very much up. Yeah, I don't know, but it's feeding greed and fear as well, right? People will FOMO in when Apple, for example, publishes that they are going into Bitcoin, or when Microsoft says we're doing this big thing on
Right.
people will, and institutions too, because there are also people, they will FOMO in and make a next all-time high, and then something will happen, a black swan event, a, a government threatening to ban Bitcoin, a company threatening to release a quantum computer or something like that, and people will be scared and they will sell. So I think that will happen one more time. Um, but there will be a time when Bitcoin will be too big to fail, if you will. And I guess that moment, if you ask me, and like you said, it's crystal ball speaking here. Um, for me, that would be the moment that Bitcoin will be as scarce as real estate and approaching this 100 trillion US dollar value somewhere in the 2024 2028 period.
And with all due respect, you are giving yourself a bit of a pretty big cushion there if it hits a high of later this year between 100,000 a coin and 288. If you had to lean more to one or the other, the lower end at 100,000, the higher end at 288, which one would you guesstimate is more likely?
Yeah, let me say two things about that. So there's two models currently running, right? It's the Bitcoin only time series models, and those models have a all time, or they have an average of 100,000 US dollars. But I am more into the second and latest model, the stock to flow cross asset model,
Hmm.
with also the data from gold and real estate in there, and that's the 288 k number. So I'm more that is my favorite, and I agree it's a pretty wide band, but I'd rather be roughly right than exactly wrong. So yeah.
No, that's understood.